My neighbor demanded my disabled son share his service dog. Then she called animal control, claiming we abused it. When Ethan was diagnosed with epilepsy at age 7, our neurologist suggested a service dog. After 2 years on a waiting list and $28,000 in training costs, Apollo joined our family, a golden retriever trained to detect seizures and alert others during episodes. The change in Ethan's life was profound. For the first time, he could play in our backyard without me, hovering nearby, and sleep in his own room. The constant fear that had become our family's unwelcome companion began to recede. Then the Davenports moved in next door. Initially, Melissa Davenport seemed friendly. She complimented our garden, brought cookies, and admired Apollo. Her daughter Emma would watch from their window as Ethan and Apollo played. During one of our first conversations, Melissa mentioned that Emma had been begging for a pet. I explained that Apollo wasn't a pet, but a medical device that happens to have free end. A week later, Melissa appeared at our door with Emma, who was clutching a leash. She asked if Emma could take Apollo for a walk, claiming her daughter was having a rough time with the move. I explained that Apollo was medically necessary for my son and couldn't be separated from Ethan. Melissa suggested that having a special needs child was challenging, but teaching them to share was important too. I firmly replied that this wasn't about sharing. Apollo was essentially medical equipment comparable to a wheelchair or insulin pump. They left, but the requests continued. Melissa suggested Emma could play with Apollo during Ethan's therapy or offered to dog sit when we went shopping. Then notes began appearing in our mailbox claiming we were selfish for not sharing such a beautiful dog, that Emma cried herself to sleep, and that other special needs families were never so unwelcoming. One Saturday morning, I caught Melissa standing by our fence holding out treats and calling Apollo. I confronted her about the dangers of distracting a service dog, and she claimed she was just being friendly. 3 days later, animal control arrived, responding to a complaint about a dog being kept in poor conditions. I showed the officer Apollo's pristine living area, veterinary records, and service dog certification. The following week, Ethan had a seizure at the park. As Apollo performed his duties, someone called the police reporting dog abuse. From across the playground, I spotted Melissa with her phone. That evening, I compiled everything: the notes, the animal control visit, witness statements, and security footage, showing Melissa trying to lure Apollo. I filed for a restraining order. At the hearing, Melissa arrived with prepared documentation about being victimized by an unneighborly family. However, when the judge saw our evidence, particularly the footage of her attempting to distract Apollo during his service duties, the restraining order was immediately granted. Melissa's family moved out 3 weeks later. A month after they left, Emma left a handwritten note, apologizing and explaining her mother hadn't told her Apollo was a medical dog. Sometimes I wonder if Melissa ever realized that what she wanted for her daughter, comfort and companionship, was exactly what Apollo provides for my son. The difference is, for Ethan, it isn't just a want, it's a need, and needs always outweigh wants, no matter how entitled the wanting.